Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Spurs Up Show, the best Gamecocks podcast on the internet. Today is Monday, December the 13th, 2021. Today's show, it's officially Victory Monday as I break down both Gamecocks men's and women's basketball, scoring big W's yesterday. Frank Martin squad beating the Florida State Seminoles in the No Room for Racism Classic by a score of 66-65. And we also talk Dawn Staley and the women winning their fourth game against a top 10 team in this season, taking down the 8th-ranked Maryland Terrapins by a final score of 66-59, guys. All that, also a big recruiting weekend as Shane Beamer and company pick up a big commitment from Jaishawn Barham, 4-star linebacker, and the highest commit of the Shane Beamer era today. Guys, I'll give my full reaction on that news as we go into a heavy recruiting week with National Signing Day just 2 days away. Also, guys, news and notes to get into that include a big-time quarterback prospect possibly on campus. Also, finally, a fantastic conversation, guys, and a great interview with former Gamecocks linebacker Sharrod Golightly. A great conversation and one I know you are sure to enjoy. Folks, if you could not tell, we have got a packed show here on a Monday, and it's all brought to you, of course, by our friends, as always, over at Upstate Movers Group. Guys, for all your moving needs this holiday season and going into the new year, be sure to contact our friends over at Upstate Movers Group. You can find them on social media at Upstate Movers Group. Or, of course, if you have any other questions, go to their website, upstatemoversgroup.com. That's upstatemoversgroup.com. Be sure to check them out and tell them Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. Let's get it. Per sources, it was a great weekend to be a Gamecock. Per sources, it feels good to be good. Folks, spoiler alert, the source is yours truly. Hope you're doing well. Happy Monday. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. I'm Chris Phillips, host of the Spurs Up Show. As always, guys, again, appreciate you all tuning in. We have got a packed show, a ton to get into here on this Victory Monday. And folks, what a great Monday to have a Monday. Arguably one of the better Mondays I can recall being a Gamecocks fan, when you're talking about victories across the board in really what feels like all sports, whether it be on the field or on the court, off the field, off the court, whatever it may be, folks. We have got a packed, fun show for you all in what's certain to be an exciting week and a great week to be a Gamecock as well this upcoming week. But again, folks, thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope this show does find you out, no matter where you are, what you're doing, whether you're on the commute or in the office, on the job, you got the day off, maybe you're in class, whatever it might be, or maybe you're graduating. I forgot graduation's actually today. So first things first, let me congratulate. Hey, let's all take a moment to congratulate all of the graduates that will be going through the commencement ceremonies, I think today and tomorrow, or at least I know this week for certain. But again, congratulations to you all. You're the real MVP. And hey, it certainly is Victory Monday or a victory week for you as you take your victory lap at the CLA or wherever commencement's held. I honestly forgot at this point. But either way, congratulations to all of our graduates of the University of South Carolina and across the state of South Carolina. If you know a graduate out there, tell them I said congratulations. Again, we have got a ton to get into. As you can tell, guys, I am fired up. So much to dive into. Before we do, though, just a couple quick housekeeping items, a couple quick reminders, and then we'll go ahead and get this thing rolling. First things first, of course, guys, we all know what's upcoming on Wednesday, signing day, official national signing day for the Gamecocks and Shane Beamer. We will have a full signing day show podcast, if you will, dropping on Wednesday, a full signing day primer on the podcast. Of course, guys, on the Daily Crow, we'll be rock and rolling, doing our normal thing. And then Thursday, The podcast on Thursday will be a full signing day recap, if you will, just what happened, where the class finished up, full takeaways from the Gamecocks recruiting class, if you will, all that good stuff. Also, of course, guys, normal content this week with a podcast, the Daily Crow. So a lot of the content this week is going to be centered around National Signing Day. We do have basketball on Tuesday and Wednesday with men's and women's, but of course, signing day, a very, very, very big deal this week. And I'm very excited for the content that we're going to roll out there. Really looking forward to it. So again, you can expect the primer and the recap shows Wednesday, Thursday, and of course, we'll break down everything on the Daily Crow this week as well, noon to 2 on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch as well. We'd love to have you tune into that, taking your questions, your comments, and your calls as well. Also, guys, just a quick reminder, we are live at Tin Roof, 5 to 7 on Wednesday in the Vista. One quick update, though. I had said late last week that former Gamecocks defensive line coach and friend of the show, Brad Lawing, would join me. He actually will not. Talk to Brad late Sunday afternoon, feeling under the weather, feeling sick, if you will. So we're going to reschedule that, obviously hoping he feels better sooner rather than later, but didn't want to push it, obviously, with the holiday coming up and stuff like that, going to be around family. So Brad feeling under the weather, so we will not have Coach Lawing, but we'll still be live at Tin Roof, of course, taking your questions, comments, calls. And what a great show, by the way. That will be at Tin Roof, because, again, that will be that afternoon of signing day. I think most of the dust will probably have settled by then. So going to be a really, really good time discussing that with you all and taking in what should be a really, really strong finish to Shane Beamer's, what I call his first real recruiting class, first full class at least at the University of South Carolina. A lot of positive momentum in that regard. And we're going to talk about that a lot more here in just a second because of what happened over the weekend as well. Before we do, guys, we got to focus on the hardwood, because what a weekend it was on the hardwood. We're going to start with Frank Martin's squad up in Rock Hill in the No Room for Racism Classic, and the Gamecocks. Grittiness, toughness, grinding it out for a 66-65 win over the Florida State Seminoles. As I just said, again, hey, first things first, feels good to be good. Feels good to be good, right? And I told you guys this a couple of weeks ago, that this was going to be a very fun basketball team to watch, right? A very fun basketball team to watch with all the newcomers and the new pieces and the youngsters and guys that, you know, if this team could find a way to gel, if this team could find a way to mesh, at least early on, some good things could really happen. I don't know about the NCAA tournament. I don't know how far this team can go, but it's going to be a fun team to watch. You saw that yesterday. Like I just said, the grittiness, the toughness, overcoming adversity. Guys, you trail by as much as 16 points early in this game. You open up as a 6.5-point underdog, and hell, I picked you to lose, which, hey, always trust the big brain. But I picked you to lose. You were an underdog. You were down by 16, and this team could have folded. This team could have caved. I think most of us expected that to happen. I think most Gamecock fans expected this one to get way out of hand. You know, it looked like, at least early on, it was going to be one of those games that we're so familiar with in regards to South kind of showing up and not having its best stuff for whatever reason and getting run out of the gym. Well, not only did the Gamecocks not do that, but they were able to fight, scratch, and claw and find a way. And really, guys, it starts on the defensive side. It starts on the defensive side. I think what you're seeing early in this season, when South Carolina has been successful, and you've seen it come up more often than not, because this is a Frank Martin coach team, right? This team has shooters shoot. We love it. Our guy Stevie and everybody else involved, Devin Carter, James Reese, Jacoby Wright, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, this is a Frank Martin basketball team. And Frank Martin coached basketball teams are going to win games more often than not with stellar defense. And sure enough, that is exactly what happened yet again in this ball game. Of course, FSU, like I said, guys, starts out hot, but you look back at the final stats. You actually outshot the Seminoles. You shot 44%. You held FSU to just 37% from the field. Both teams, by the way, shooting identical numbers from three-point range, 29% from the three-point line. You look at free throws. What's crazy is you won this ball game and you still found a way to overcome shooting just 500 from the free throw line. Florida State shooting 75%. Look at the boards, though. Look at the physicality, the toughness by the Gamecocks. 41-33 advantage in regards to rebounds. I mean, like I said, guys, when you look at a Frank Martin coach basketball team, that's what I saw. The grittiness, the toughness, muddying this thing up, if you will, and just finding a way to come back. And now you find yourself sitting at 7-2. We talked about how big this 3-game stretch was when it comes to non-conference and the 3-game stretch at Georgetown, Florida State, and Clemson, and just finding a way to go at least 2-1. You've already completed the first 2 legs of that big 3-game non-conference stretch. Kudos to Frank Martin. Kudos to that entire team. Like I said, guys, finding a way to battle back. Because, again, early, it looked ugly. I mean, early, it looked very, very, very ugly. And as much criticism and as much energy, and I'm to blame as well, as much criticism and as much energy as we put into criticizing Gamecocks basketball and criticizing Frank Martin and criticizing players, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, let's make sure we take that same energy. Let's take that same exact energy now because, hey, we were all loud after the Gamecocks lost to Coastal. We were all loud after South Carolina went to Conway and looked clueless. Let's just make sure we're putting that same energy today and this week into what the Gamecocks did in Rock Hill on Sunday, because that was nothing short of a fantastic win. A fantastic win for South Carolina in a non-conference venue, a neutral site venue is what I meant to say, a neutral site venue up in Rock Hill, South Carolina. There was a bunch of great Gamecocks up there as well, so kudos to all of you that maybe made the trip. But just a fantastic job to overcome adversity and fight, scratch, and claw. And again, you were down 16 early, guys. This thing could have gotten away from you many different times, but you kept fighting, you kept fighting, you kept fighting. And what a basketball game this was, by the way. What a basketball game, a game of runs. It felt like it was, one team going a 7-0 run, then an 8-0 run the other way, then a 10-0 run, then a 6-0 run, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And you find a way to get the job. And again, guys, this is one of those basketball games, by the way, or just one of those sporting events that when you win, it's great, right? It was a great game. When you lose, it's agonizing. It's painful. It's the despair of defeat, if you will. But bottom line is this: the Gamecocks found themselves on the right side of this thing. And what's so cool, and I think what stands out, and I'm going to get my biggest takeaway in just a second. He's part of it, but Frank Martin was, and I've said it many times, guys. Again, did I come into this season saying fire Frank Martin? No, I did not. Did I say fire Frank Martin after the Coastal Carolina game? No, I did not, because I wanted to, let's just see this thing play out, right? It's a long season. It's a very, very long season, right? You can go on a tear in SEC play and you're a no-brainer, March Madness team, right? So it's like, let's just see the thing play out. And I'm not a guy that we know Frank Martin is a good basketball coach. We do. We know that. You don't take a team to the Final Four if you're not a good basketball coach. The question coming in the season was not, does Frank Martin know the game of basketball, or is he a good basketball coach? The question was, does his style still work? Will players still respond to his coaching style? And I see some people still cringe when it goes to commercials and Frank Martin is absolutely ripping into a kid on the sideline. And it takes, guys, let's call it for what it is. It takes a special kind of player and a special kind of individual to flourish, not just play, but flourish under those circumstances. But again, I want to take a moment to tip my cap to Frank Martin and give the same energy again I gave after the Coastal game after this one. Because Frank Martin told us we will be better. Frank Martin said, because of us having our practice time back and being able to develop this team and install our defense, we will be better. And Frank Martin did not just say it. He did not just talk the talk. He walked the walk in regards to making Gamecocks basketball better. Basically completely flipped the roster. I mean, it just, I was at a game with my buddy early in the season, like, who is this team? All new players. Who are they? He didn't sit on his hands and just hope. He flipped the entire roster. And it's players like the Devin Carters of the world. It's players like the Jacoby Wrights. It's players like the James Reeses that you look at and say, these are the kind of players, these are the kind of guys that Frank Martin had to bring in. Because a guy like, for example, Devin Carter, that's a dude that you watch his game and it gives you hope. It gives you hope not just for this season, not just for the next game, but for the future of the program. Truly. Like, man, look at this young cat. Look at this diaper dandy, man. A guy we can build around, a guy who's going to be able to flourish here, and he's going to be our star player. Like, that was the kind of guy, and that was the thing, I think, or one of the things that Frank Martin absolutely had to have. Again, there's a long season ahead, so I'm not saying throwing a parade. I'm not saying crown anybody, but that was a big win yesterday. And when you have a youngster like a Devin Carter show out the way he did, and you're having guys like Jacoby Wright playing solid basketball in place of Jermaine Kusnar, which, by the way, that's something I hadn't even mentioned yet. The fact the Gamecocks did what they did yesterday without Jermaine Kusnar, without one of your best players, and we saw how important he was when he was absent in Conway. We saw how important he was. For the Gamecocks to overcome that, you could argue they didn't even have their best product on the floor yesterday and still found a way to win. That's impressive. But again, when you look at what Frank Martin did with the roster in the offseason, completely flipping it, and now your best players are those guys who came in. You know, our guy Stevie does his thing. James Reese coming in does his thing. Chico Carter Jr., he does his thing. AJ Wilson, right? And then you're getting quality minutes. I tell you what, guys, again, I talked about him last week. Wilton Levesque is playing the best basketball I've ever seen him play. An absolute force down low. I cannot say enough good. I feel like Wilton Levesque's name's getting mentioned every other second. Keyshawn Bryant is still the highlight reel we all know and love. Keyshawn Bryant's still that dude, right? Not scared to dunk on nobody. Not scared to dunk on nobody. And then you're getting enough from all these new pieces, and this thing is finally starting to gel together. You don't win a game. I've said this about Carolina football, and I'll say it here about this Gamecocks basketball team, because, again, lots of things have been said about Frank Martin, his program, his coaching style, what the future of Carolina basketball should be. And, hey, I've said it too, guys. If the season doesn't go the way we all hope, you have to, at some point, sit down and evaluate and say, okay, what is the future of Gamecocks basketball? Where do we want this program to go? And are we in the best possible position to get to that goal? Right? But I can tell you this, you don't win a game like you won yesterday if the culture of Gamecocks basketball and the character of the people on that team, if it isn't fantastic. Because, again, you were down 16. You could have folded. You could have easily folded. You could have easily just packed in and said, you know what, not our day. Florida State's better than us. Big bad ACC team. Whatever. You know, we're missing one of our veteran leaders. Not our day. But you didn't. You fought. You scratched. You clawed. You played intense defense. Intense. I mean, that's right there is buying into what's being taught. That right there is buying into what's being sold. So, again, I'm not sitting here saying crown Frank Martin and he should get a 10-year extension, anything like that. But, guys, I've never been anti-Frank Martin ever. I just want to make that clear. I've never been anti-Frank Martin. I've been pro-winning. I'm pro-winning. I'd love to see, and I'm loving seeing, Frank Martin go on sort of this revenge tour and let everybody know and reminding them, hey, I can still coach. Like, I'm still a good basketball coach. Things have not gone our way the last couple of years. They certainly didn't last year. But the question should have never been, is Frank Martin a good basketball coach? Does he know basketball? Of course he does. Of course he does. The question is, can he find the players to fit his style and flourish? Not just fit, not just play, flourish in his style. It looks like he just may have found the group to do so. And I tell you what, like I said, guys, I don't know where this team's going to go. I don't know what the ceiling is. But as I told you before, this team is damn fun to watch. This team is damn fun to watch. So kudos to all parties involved, man. That was a gutsy win. That took a lot of guts. That took a lot of determination. That took a lot of character to not pack it in and continue to fight. Kudos to all those involved. I talked about him just a second ago, guys. And when you're talking takeaways from this game, my biggest takeaway, and I feel like the obvious takeaway from this one, Devin Carter is a star in the making. I mean, this dude is a baller. This dude is a legitimate stud out there. Big 2-3, doing his thing. He can shoot from outside. He's not afraid to drive. Incredible stuff, man. Incredible stuff. Again, Devin Carter's a guy that gives you hope and optimism for the Gamecocks basketball program moving forward. These young guys you can cling to, and, you know, just an incredible job by him. I mean, unreal. Some of the momentum-changing shots. I also want to shout out, though, James Reese, what he did. An 8-0 run literally by himself. That was stuff of legends. But for me, guys, my biggest takeaway, Devin Carter, truly, I think that's going to be a name we're talking about for a couple of years. I mean, he's as good as we've seen since who? You know what I mean? Since who? And the fact that he's a true freshman, only played 9 games in his entire career. The Gamecocks now sit at 7-2, only played 9 games. And the sky's the limit for that young man. Absolutely incredible. Tons of fun to watch. I think definitely he is a star in the making for sure. And I think he put the college basketball world on high alert yesterday with that performance that he had. So much fun to watch. On that note, guys, it should be of no surprise. The Shooter Shoot Award for yesterday's game against Florida State, of course, it's got to go to the kid, Devin Carter, 16 points, 6 of 12 from the field, 4 of 7 from the free throw charity stripe, and 7 rebounds to his credit as well. Again, it was a blast watching Devin Carter play, man. And like I said, some of the game-changing, momentum-changing shots and layups and not being afraid to drive and hitting the outside shot as well. Again, I think we're just starting to see just glimpses of what this kid can be. I think it's just the beginning for him. Devin Carter, an awesome player from Miami, Florida. And again, 16 points, 50% from the field, 4 of 7 from free throws, and 7 rebounds total. A fantastic day. So again, guys, Devin Carter, the winner of our Shooter Shoot Award for his performance against the Florida State Seminoles, which again, guys, takes us into what's next for Gamecocks basketball and Frank Martin squad. They will actually return to action, guys, tomorrow, Tuesday, December the 14th, as they take on Allen at 7 p.m. at Colonial Life Arena, guys. And I'll tell you this, because I understand everybody looks at that game. Heck, yours truly looks at that game and says, that should be a blowout. Shouldn't even be close. Hey, and it shouldn't. But if you can, I'm not saying, if you don't go to the stadium, if you don't go to CLA, you're a bad fan. I'm not saying that, but all I'm saying is this. If you can, go. If you can, go. Let's not let it be dead and the team looks sluggish. And, dude, I cannot wait to get in CLA Tuesday night, tomorrow night, if you will, and support this team. And, it's going to be an incredible night for sure. It's going to be awesome. You should win. You will win. There's no doubt. But if you can go. But again, guys, Gamecocks now sitting at 7-2 overall. And again, I said this after Georgetown. If you'd have told me Gamecocks would have been 7-2 or 6-2 at that time, 7-2 at this time, if you'd have told me right now, guys, South going to be 7-2, I would have taken that in a heartbeat. Would have taken that in a freaking heartbeat. So a ton to play for. We said it, the target number was 10-3 in the non-conference. I mean, guys, I think you're well on your way. I mean, you got Clemson, but I mean, Allen, South Carolina State, Army. I mean, these are teams you should take advantage of. So continue to build the positive momentum. Big time home date before you take on the arch rival this weekend at their place on Saturday night. Again, tomorrow against Allen, 7 p.m. tip-off, like I said, guys, on the SEC Network Plus. If you cannot make it, SEC Network Plus. But again, guys, fantastic win for Frank Martin's squad as they move to 7-2. And I tell you what, man, I think everything's in front of you. I know the Coastal loss was bad, but I think beating Georgetown, beating Florida State, you're kind of starting to put that one in your rear view. And there's still a lot to play for in this non-conference as you creep closer and closer and closer to SEC play, which will start that first week of January. Again, guys, we're sticking on the hardwood because, again, it feels good to be good. And sources confirm winning is fun. And that was the case yesterday at the CLA as, again, Dawn Staley's team, ho-hum, took down the 8th-ranked Maryland Terrapins by a final score of 66-59. Again, guys, I don't say that to be, disrespectful or non-complimentary. But, again, I said this before, and I will say it again. This women's basketball team is a lot like the Patriots when Tom Brady was quarterback. The real season for this group isn't going to start until we get to March Madness because, guys, I said it in the preseason. I don't think this team loses a game. Who is this team going to lose to? Who? Who is going to beat the Gamecocks? They've beaten everyone. They have beaten everyone. So you can stop, by the way, worrying and sweating games and saying, oh, my God, I don't know if Gamecocks women's basketball is going to win this one. And, hey, I'm talking to you, Panic Ritter. Shout out Panic Ritter on the show. Panic Ritter every time out is worried about Dawn Staley's team losing. Oh, no, how are the ladies going to do? Panic Ritter, you can calm down. And all those who share his sentiment of, being worry-warts every time they take the floor, you can calm down. Guess what? Gamecocks men's basketball heads to Duke on Wednesday. They're going to win that one too. Doesn't matter what they're ranked. Doesn't matter who their head coach is. Doesn't matter what players they have. This team's going to win every single time it takes the floor. You can take that to the bank. If they don't, I'll eat crow. But until somebody beats them, somebody asked me a couple days ago, Chris, have you picked the women to lose yet? Why on God's green earth would I pick the women to lose? Who would you pick to beat them? I will wait. So it's business as usual. You know what I mean? It's business as usual. And you know what? I'll say it. We're spoiled right now. We're spoiled because I have that type of mentality. Like, we're spoiled with Dawn Staley's team. I would love to be spoiled. We should all wish to be spoiled across every single sport the way Dawn Staley has spoiled us with her product, the product she puts on the floor. Which, by the way, speaking of that product on the floor, how about Zia Cook, Aaliyah Boston? Shout out to them, each hitting 1,000 career points as Gamecocks. Congrats. How about round of applause? Zia Cook, Aaliyah Boston, congratulations. Taking a look at the statistics, though, Gamecocks shooting 36% from the field. Hell, Maryland are just 31%. Shot just 17% from three, and Maryland shooting 39%, but it did not matter. Listen to this stat. And again, this goes back to Aaliyah Boston, right? When you have a specimen, as is Aaliyah Boston in the middle, I mean, these are the type of numbers you're going to get. 61 rebounds is what you reeled in. How many did Maryland have? 34. You out-rebounded the Terrapins by 27. You had damn near double the amount of rebounds that Maryland had. And what's crazy, guys, I don't even think the Gamecocks played their best game. They had 16 turnovers to Maryland's 9. So you won by 7 points, and you could argue didn't even play your best game. I mean, it's the proof's in the pudding. This is the best team in women's college basketball, no question. You're 10-0 on the season. You are 4-0 against top 10 teams. Guys, I don't know every other women's basketball schedule out there. Who's played a tougher slate? I mean, truly, is there another team that has played a tougher slate? I don't think so. I don't think so. You're 4-0 against top 10 teams. You've beaten the best already. I mean, this team is already March Madness ready. They already are. Who else do they have to play? Who else do they have to beat to prove they're the best team in women's basketball? Who? So, again, fantastic job, man, by Dawn Staley's squad. 66-59. You moved to 10-0 overall, 4-0 against top 10 teams. And, again, just keep on keeping on. It's business as usual. And again, guys, like I said, I don't say that to be disrespectful or uncomplimentary, whatever, but when I say it feels good to be good, I mean, Dawn Staley's team is the definition of it feels good to be good. It also feels good to be better than everyone else, which is what Dawn Staley's team is. So again, panic Ritter, any other worry warts out there, take a deep breath and relax. You got the best team in women's college basketball. Let's act like we're fans of that team. Let's act like it because we have it. We have it. Nobody's beating this team. Period, point blank. Take it to the bank. Take it to the bank. All right, guys, let's move off the hardwood and into some recruiting. What a recruiting weekend it was. Shane Beamer, he said, hey, I'm not going to be taught by the basketball programs. I'm putting in work my damn self as Jaishawn Barham, 4-star linebacker, commits, 6'3", 230 pounds out of District Heights, Maryland. And folks, again, what a pickup this was. I'll tell you this. This made my day Saturday. And I'm not saying that I don't normally get excited when prospects pick the University of South Carolina, especially when they're 4 stars and especially when they have the type of ratings and the hype. Because again, guys, if you did not know, this is now the highest commit of the Shane Beamer, highest rated commit, I should say, the highest rated commit of the Shane Beamer era to date, right? So, of course, I was excited. Either way, I was going to be excited. But the events that preceded this commitment with the Crystal Ball boys and those on Twitter overreacting to things that were not even hard, solid fact yet, saying that the program was on quote-unquote life support, and then others, I feel like, it's very easy, guys. If you just pay attention, it's very easy to tell those who did not like the Shane Beamer hire from day one and those who are still skeptical of Shane Beamer's status as head coach. And folks, if you know these people, if you follow these people, here's my suggestion to you. Don't listen to slapdicks. Don't listen to idiots, man. People that are going to overreact to something one side or another before even all the facts come out. It's silliness. It's foolishness. And again, I totally respect the guys at 24/7, rivals, those who make a living. Because, hey, those sites have made a fantastic living out of covering recruiting, doing the whole message board thing, and dropping their predictions, aka crystal balls for prospects. But it is sort of funny in situations like this when, again, guys, we all felt good going into Saturday. Okay, Jaishawn Barham, we got a really, really good chance. You know, people are saying we're going to get him. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, shit just hit the fan. Oh, my God, he just got a crystal ball to Maryland. Oh, he's going to Maryland. I was getting texts from people. He's going to Maryland, man. This is a huge miss. What is Beamer doing, man? He's missed on playmaker after playmaker. He's not getting a game-changing recruit. What is going on? And I'm just like, okay, well, let's see where he goes. I mean, how do you know? How do you know? How do you know? Because some dude gave a crystal ball. Crystal ball boys. Y'all should give people their money back for this foolishness, freaking people out, going into the commitment. It's silly. At times, it's silly. Again, I'm not knocking what those guys do. Hey, they've been wildly successful. They've been wildly successful doing what they do. So kudos to you. But maybe it just goes to show, guys, that maybe it's not wise. Per sources, it is not wise to overreact until, you know, a kid actually makes a decision and he says out of his mouth where he's going to go. I don't know. Either way, it was funny how it all evolved, though, because, hey, people had me convinced that, well, dang, I guess he's going to Maryland. I guess it looks like he's going to go to Maryland, whatever. That's what everybody's saying. Everybody's saying he's going to Maryland. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, oh, yeah, the program's on Life Sport, but Jaishawn Barham just picked the Gamecocks. Who saw that coming? So just a funny day. And that really made my day. Again, when Barham picked South Carolina, again, a huge pickup for Shamer. He picks the Gamecocks over, obviously, Maryland, Oklahoma, and I believe Penn State was the other one. But either way, huge to get that commitment on Saturday going into this week with signing day on Wednesday and, you know, just continue to build positive momentum and all that. So a great pickup. Again, a 4-star defensive kid listed as a linebacker, but again, 6'3", 230, man, just a kid, a freakish athlete that is going to help you on the defensive side. Again, some of his, you look at his offer list, man. I mean, I think there were like 26 schools that offer this kid. So a big time prospect, absolutely no doubt. I don't know, folks. I mean, hey, listen to who you want, but maybe don't get so worked up and be ready to jump off a bridge because somebody gives a crystal ball. I'm going to start giving my own crystal balls. How about that? We're going to do TSUS crystal balls, and we'll just go from there. So TSUS crystal balls, maybe those will come soon. Either way, though, no, seriously, in all seriousness, because all of us who cover the Gamecocks, we want to see them get good players like Jaishawn Barham. So again, a fantastic pickup, great pickup. Do not doubt what Shane Beamer is doing on the recruiting trail. Again, the highest rated commit of the Shane Beamer era. Things you love to see. Per sources, those are things that we love to see. Guys, this has been fun. This has been a blast. One quick note before we get out of here, because we have a fantastic throwback conversation with our guy, Sharrod Golightly, who was a damn good player at the linebacker position himself at South Carolina. Just one quick note. If you saw it on social media, you saw correctly. There's a big-time quarterback on campus this week. His name is Spencer Rattler. He played for the Oklahoma Sooners. The question people have is this, which is fair. What are the realistic odds that we land Spencer Rattler? I'll just give you guys my temperature check in. This is not a crystal ball. This is not insider info. This is not message board banter. This is just yours truly, trusting my gut and giving you guys my insight. Spencer Rattler, the realistic odds we get him, I would say probably about 30%. That's how I feel. I'm not going overboard in regards to, the Gamecocks' chances to land him. This is a kid that can literally go anywhere. But I tell you what, when you start looking at some of the competitors at UCLA and Ole Miss, and, I've heard the name Nebraska mentioned. I think the Gamecocks have got a pretty decent shot to land him. I know some of you out there are moaning and groaning. If you don't want Spencer Rattler at Carolina, you are crazy, folks. You are crazy. You're crazy. Because number one, he immediately will upgrade the quarterback room. And there's no question, there's no denying it, there's no fighting it. Number two, the reason why you might be moaning and groaning, that's why you hired Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer is there to get kids to buy into the culture and what we're building and being a good teammate and all that, right? Don't just go off of one high school documentary you saw of this kid 3 years ago. Who gives a damn? Who gives a damn? And number three, guys, and arguably the greatest reason I would love Spencer Rattler to be a Gamecock, guys, he would make South Carolina football nationally relevant in an instant. And some of you out there may say, oh, why does that matter? That doesn't matter. Yes, it does. Because guess what? In college football, as is in every other sport, but in college football, perception is reality. Perception's reality. And so if you get a guy like Spencer Rattler and all of a sudden you're must-see TV and you're a national storyline, well, guess what? People are going to. The Spurs Up Show is brought to you by our friends over at Drizzly. Guys, friends over, binge watching your favorite show, cat on your lap. No matter your reasons for wanting to stay put, keep your feet up and get beer, wine, and spirits delivered to you in under 60 minutes with our friends over at Drizzly. Guys, Drizzly is the most convenient way to buy beer, wine, and spirits with delivery to your doorstep in under 60 minutes. They're also the #1 app for alcohol delivery, the convenience of home delivery in under 60 minutes when you need it, when you want it. Guys, the convenience, you shop across stores so you can choose from a huge selection and get exactly what you want. You can also get the most value when you shop across multiple stores to compare prices and find the best deals on exactly what you're looking for. Guys, right now our friends at Drizzly are giving all new customers $5 off their first order with the code FAST5. So go download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com and use promo code FAST5 for $5 off your first order. Take notice, right? Wouldn't it feel good to have that Gamecock block C, that Gamecock logo back in the spotlight yet again? I know I'd love to see it. I know I sure as shit would love to see it. So Spencer Rattler, as far as we know, on campus this week, visiting. What does it mean? Will he commit? Folks, I don't know. Only time will tell. But again, if this weekend taught us anything, don't overreact one way or the other, right? Don't overreact one way or the other. Let's just see this thing play out. See what happens. I think if we do that, we trust in Shane Beamer. Beamer ball going to the moon. Beamer ball is going to the moon. Let's trust in Beamer ball. Let's trust in Shane Beamer and let this dude work. Good things are going to happen. I'm telling you guys, good things are going to happen both on the field, off the field, with the coaching staff. Guys, just be patient. Good things will happen. Good things are going to happen. Trust in Shane. We got you. We got your back, Shane. All right. Like I said, guys, this has been a fun Monday. Winning is fun. Confirmed. Per sources, winning is fun. Hell of a Monday. Again, guys, it's not over yet. We got a great conversation, great interview with former Gamecocks linebacker Sharrod Golightly. This one, a throwback conversation also from 2019. Again, guys, I told you before, we're publishing a lot of these throwback interviews right now. We are going to, at the turn of the year, we are going to get back into new interviews for you guys. But like I said, as we got into football season, everybody's so busy. The schedule is just crazy hectic. And I just realized there were so many interviews that you guys had never heard. Because, I mean, you think the business has about tripled in size since 2019. So, again, really happy to bring these conversations back to light. And, again, I know, guys, this is one you're sure to enjoy. Sharrod Golightly, a big part of some of the best defenses in Gamecocks football history. So, again, folks, enjoy that conversation. Enjoy that interview. Guys, again, thank you all so much for the continued love and support, rocking and rolling with us every single thing we do with the business. Truly a blessing, man. Again, excited for an exciting week. Podcast, Daily Crow, all the content rolling. You guys know the drill. So, again, hope you had a fantastic weekend. Hope you have a great rest of your Monday and enjoy this conversation with former Gamecocks linebacker Sharrod Golightly. All right, joining us today on the Spurs Up Show is a man that played for Gamecocks football from 2010 to 2014. During his South Carolina career, he finished with 114 total tackles, 14 and a half tackles for loss, 3 sacks, an interception, 2 fumble recoveries, was actually named second team All-SEC in 2013 by the Associated Press, and was obviously a key member on some of the best teams in South Carolina football history. Very pleased to welcome to the show former Gamecocks Spur Sharrod Golightly. Sharrod, I appreciate you taking the time, man. It's a pleasure having you on.
Man, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. So, Sharrod, I want to go back to the beginning for you. Obviously, you're a kid out of Decatur, Georgia. Came into South Carolina at an interesting time in the sense when Steve Spurrier was really getting it rolling. Obviously, again, you get there in 2010 in red shirt. But just take me back to the beginning. You're in high school, obviously a highly sought-after recruit. What was the recruiting process like for you, and what eventually led you to choose South Carolina?
The process was cool, man. I was really excited coming out of Decatur, going to different places across the South and even outside the South to just try to see how far this game of football could take me. But just running into a recruiter, not a recruiter, but a defensive coordinator, Lorenzo Ward. He played a huge role in helping me kind of build a bridge between Decatur and Columbia. And he helped me see the strong future that we had. And I knew with the name that Coach Spurrier had, we can pull some other guys that had the same type of plans that I had to kind of make a change. Just uplift a program and show how great we are.
No, for sure. Like I said, you got there at an interesting time in the sense that, I mean, the second you get there, 2010 on was the start of the run of, you go to the SEC championship, go to Atlanta, 3 straight 11-win seasons. Like I said, you redshirted in 2010, but when you got there on campus, could you – because I think we saw some glimpses of it in 2009, towards the end of the season. That was the first of 5 in a row against Clemson. I think that got everybody fired up, obviously. But what was the mood like when you got on campus? Like, I'd imagine you had a good feeling that South Carolina was really on the cusp of some really big things to come.
When I got there, I knew, well, at least coming from where I came from, I left with a winning tradition. And I know when I got there, the class 2010 specifically, me, Marcus Lattimore, Nick Jones, Dylan Thompson, Connor Shaw, we all kind of came in that first month in June. And I know we kind of had that same look in our eye that it was a new day in Carolina. And I just knew with that winning mentality, it doesn't matter what happened before us. The history starts now. So we had that same mentality moving forward with the next 3 to 4 years.
No doubt. So you talked about Steve Spurrier, obviously legendary head coach, Lorenzo Ward. Let's stick with Spurrier specifically, though. I know that every player that played for him, I feel like, has kind of a different relationship, if you will, especially with you being a defensive guy. I know obviously he's stuck on his side of the room with the offense, but what were the first interactions with Steve Spurrier like for you?
What I love is his honesty. I always loved honesty, even however it came off, as long as we got the message across. He says what he means, and he has expectations. And the biggest thing that I think we had that was in common was a winning mentality. I think if you want to win, you'll do whatever it takes, and the preparation was always in place to make sure that we kind of performed at our best abilities. And that's one thing I can't take away, and I'm so thankful that he kind of exposed us to that type of regiment and consistency and tradition, because he brought that with him. And I think we just were people to kind of help expose that winning mentality from a physical standpoint.
Yeah, Sharrod, I'm just taking a look here at the stats. Your career is really interesting in the sense that your first 2 years at Carolina on the field, 2011 and 12, you had 10 total tackles in those 2 seasons, so didn't play a bunch. You break out in 2013, like I said at the beginning of the show, your second team All-SEC. You jump from 10 total tackles those first 2 seasons to 47 total tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks. You had 2 fumble recoveries in 2013 as well. I mean, do you attribute that to just getting more opportunities, or like what changed in your game that led you to kind of that breakout 2013 year?
It's opportunity, man. Opportunity. I think the first 2 years, I had to, you got to learn to be a follower first, and then you'll become a leader. You'll learn how to become a strong leader. So my first 2 years, I was behind Devontae Holloman and Antonio Allen, and those two actually gave me the know-how, and just to see them do what I know I could do. So just seeing is believing, and with them giving me, the all the encouragement to move forward, especially being smaller in the position. I knew when I got out there, my talent would show.
For sure. It's crazy. Again, I'm looking just, again, the years that you were there. And I mean, just when you were there, I mean, there are so many games, moments, accomplishments you guys got. Like, it's almost too many to name. We could talk about the streak against Clemson. We could talk about the SEC title. We could talk about beating Georgia, and just everybody. I mean, it just – obviously you were there at the peak of South Carolina football. Is there one moment for you that you guys accomplished as a team that stands out? Because, again, they were just – from that 2010 to 2013 span, I mean, you guys accomplished everything. I mean, but is there one thing for you that stands out that you guys accomplished as a team during your time there?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It was so many, like you said, all of them that ring a bell in my mind. But I knew that we grew up a lot. And from a standpoint, when I was an actual senior captain going into the 2014 year, and we played University of Florida at Florida. And I knew how bad Coach Spurrier wanted that win. And I know how bad I wanted that win, at least leaving out of South Carolina. And we had a strong record against them my first 3 years. but I just kind of wanted to leave with that bang. And it went to 2 overtimes. I think it went to overtime or 2 overtimes. And I just remember our D-line being so young, and they were giving us so much flack about how inexperienced they were, and they grew up so much for that game. Bryson Allen Williams had a breakout game, and he's like one of my hometown little brothers. So when he came out and did his thing, and I had a strong game as well in overtime, man, I just thought that was a real win that we used our will to get over, and that would show me the strength of football. That's one of those games that show you the strength of teamwork, the strength of just coming together for a common goal. And then it's always great to win in Florida. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's always a blessing to try to make some type of tradition. That's
Yeah, I was going to say
really known.
That was the Carlton Hurd block punt game. Very very vividly remember. It's kind of ironic because I think everybody sort of agrees that's the game that got Will Muschamp fired. Now, ironically, he's our head coach. I mean, it's kind of interesting,
Yeah,
kind of interesting. So, but so I do want to go back. Let's talk about the Carolina-Clemson rivalry because again, you were there. The best teams ever at South Carolina, and you guys obviously had a ton of success against Clemson. You were there for the four of the 5, or the last 4 of the 5-game winning streak against Clemson. You being a guy coming from out of state, though, how quickly did it click for you just how big of a game it was? Because I know it's a little bit different of a dynamic coming from out of state, but how quickly did it click for you just how big of a game that is?
I can't lie. It took a minute for it to really hit me. When I first got to Carolina, I knew it was a rivalry game, and I knew how important it was to our fans. But like I said, from our mentality, it was just somebody next on the schedule. I feel like everybody in the SEC is a rivalry game. And they just somebody who got to not play in our conference, and that we had to meet at the end to show them our worth. And show them it's a new day in South Carolina, or at least in that time space. And like I said, just moving forward, going into my 3rd and 4th year, that's when I started to feel the real weight of it. And I just started to seeing the difference what with our teams and what was going on in the past, and even in retrospect, looking at the recent past, what we had as a strong point was a mentality. And that mentality, like I was watching this Patriots game. It doesn't matter who's on the schedule; it's next up. And if you prepare the right way, you should come out with great results.
For sure. Is there one? Because again, there's so many good memories when you were there against Clemson. I mean, is there one game, one specific moment that kind of sticks out for you in the Carolina-Clemson rivalry for you personally? I mean, because again, you saw it all. I mean, you go up there in 2010 and beat the hell out of them, and just wrap it up with 2013, holding up the 5, getting that 5th straight win. I mean, but is there one thing for, I guess, you personally that stands out in your time as a player during Carolina-Clemson?
My biggest, me personally, when my last year started, 2013, my last year, the last year we won against Clemson in 2013. That was a huge win. I got to actually be on the field, experience it all, cover Sammy Watkins, watch Connor Shaw just be amazing. Watch my boy Bruce Ellington, that's like my brother, but see him just flourish. Like, I couldn't believe how great he was that year. It was a great year for him. But I think outside of me though, I think that year we went to Clemson and DJ Swearinger hit Andre Ellington, and I don't think we know like the backstory, because the backstory was just. Because we know Bruce, and Bruce was just telling us how much, they thought they knew that they had to beat us. Because they were getting off to that tradition of winning against us. So they really wanted that, especially being at home. And I just think that hit epitomized that entire 5-year period. Like, it let them know when DJ got there, because I'm like, attitude reflects leadership. And when DJ got there the year before us, I knew that type of mentality, that was something I wanted to be a part of. And that's why it was easy to kind of jump on board and just add to that greatness. And I remember coming out 2010, going into 2011, we had at least about 11 to 15 kids coming from the Georgia area. And I remember telling them, like, y'all got to come to South Carolina, man. You got to see what's going on. I just remember how important that recruiting pitch was. And I know that hit specifically showed them that our conference is different, our football is different, and it's a different time. and they're gonna have to respect it. And and it was a beautiful day. Beautiful day.
I got to ask now, since we're talking about DJ Swearinger, is there one story for him that like sticks out for you? Because I've kind of seen some former players kind of going back and forth about it on social media about, we've all seen the video of Clemson in warmups and DJ comes up, swats the ball away. And like, I've heard a story of him in the Michigan game as well, and like pregame and stuff like that. Like, is there any DJ Swearinger memory that you can tell in the airwaves that's like your favorite that sticks out? Because I feel like there's just so many stories with just his savagery. You know what I mean?
Dude is a warrior, man. And he's a straight warrior. And if you really love the game, you'll love everything about him, especially if he's on your side. And it's just, I just love he didn't care. He didn't care who we were going against. And he had that underdog mentality. DJ didn't come in like Stephon. He wasn't 5-star. He wasn't all that. But he demanded his respect, play by play. And that's what we try to do game by game, from a micro to a macro, is just demanding respect with preparation. You know what I'm saying? And a physical mentality. And he made sure that we came out there with that. And if we didn't, he called us out. And I remember when he left. He left and came back. He was asking, "What's going on, man? These games too close. Like, you're right. Let me go out here and have a conversation, and then we'll talk and we'll get it back going." But man, his leadership is priceless, man. I tell him that. I told him that this year. I still keep in close contact with him, man. I'm so proud of him. I just know how hard he works, and his preparation got him to where he is, man. And there's nothing about his effort that didn't seep through the entire team eventually. Between him, Stephon, Alshon, Connor Shaw, Marcus, it all starts with the leadership. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, you mentioned DJ, but you also mentioned Stephon Gilmore, and you play with the likes of, Jadeveon Clowney, Devin Taylor. I mean, you guys had to know how good you were, right, as far as defensively. Because, you look at those defenses, and we can have the debate of which one was the best defense on another show, I'm sure. But you look at starting in 2010, but then 11, 12, 13, like you look at those defenses. You just look at the guys on the two deep. Look at how many guys are in the NFL balling out too, not just playing, but balling out. Melvin Ingram doing big things. Clowney's doing big things. Pretty much every Gamecock in the NFL, I feel like, is doing very big things. But, how much that had to be just a lot of fun though, because you guys knew you were a dominant unit, especially. I just think to 2013, it's just. Beating Clemson and, or 2012, Jadeveon Clowney, 4.5 sacks, which I think he still holds the Clemson record for most sacks in a game at that building. How much fun was it for you, just being a part of that, a part of those dominant defenses where, again, I feel like you guys knew what you had. You knew how good you were.
Yeah. I think every year it got stronger. I think because we knew how close we were. And even the little mishaps we did have within the year, I think when we tripped up against a Tennessee on a bad year, or when we tripped up against Auburn, when we Auburn team where we should have beat, I think in 2012 or 13. But whatever we tripped up and when we kind of fell short, we always kind of picked the ball up where we left off. And like I said, it all starts with leadership. And I think we knew what we had, but I don't think it all just really sank in. I just think we knew if we did our job, everybody will eat. Everybody will win. You know what I'm saying? So if we go out here and perform the way we know we should or know we can, and we come out here with a winning mentality and we prepare, I think everybody should have that opportunity to take their talents to the next level, man. And it's such a cool thing to tell people who you play with. Like I'm telling you, it's just going around, and it's such a high respect for their output as far as production, but they don't understand what they put into it to make that happen. And that's why my respect level is so high for so many.
For sure. You kind of talked about the DJ Swearinger's a guy that plays with that chip on his shoulder. I feel like, you can correct me if I'm wrong because I'm curious to get your take on this, but your playing style, I feel like you could describe yourself very similarly as well, because a guy that maybe like size-wise, you weren't the typical Spur, if you will, like as far as just size, but you played bigger, if that makes sense. Like you just played with an edge. How would you describe your playing style to people?
Yeah, man. When I came in, I was going in as a boundary safety, a strong safety.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first came in behind, I think Bryson Williams, and I was behind DJ,
Mm-hmm.
and I was trying to just figure out what working on the hashes. And when I came out of high school, I was always in the box. That was like my second nature for me, to be in the physical in the trenches. I was used to the trenches. So when I actually got an opportunity, well, I told Coach Ward, this is a little small story, but 2012, I think we were getting ready for Auburn game. I was like, Coach Ward, I want to play free. I want to play safety, man. I'm trying to get on the field. You just got to give me a shot. He was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. So I went to go talk to Corey Addison. He was GA. He was our GA at the time. But I went over to him and I was like, what do you think I should do to get on this field more? He was like, man, I think you should play Spurs linebacker, bro. I was like, why you think that? He was like, that's what you played in high school. It's your natural position. And you work on covering and get better every day. But you're going to have to wait in line. You got Antonio Allen in front of you. You got DeMario Jeffrey, and you got Devontae Holloman. So you got to wait to turn. But take a year to learn. And that was that year. Going in the rest of that year, I tried to master my craft as far as the mental side of it. And when I actually got a chance to get on the field to show the physical, it all manifested itself, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I always knew that I had a mind strong enough to overcome anything. And when I got on that field, it was an opportunity to show how great I could be in the spaces I was strong at, and it kind of showed itself. And like I said, opportunity is everything, though. You earn that opportunity with a great spring, with a strong winter, with a strong camp. All those things were momentum that built into itself. So that's why, like I said, just going through that college process, learning how to do it the right way, with the people I learned it from, it's priceless. It's priceless. And that chip on the shoulder, I think everybody should have one. I don't know if you got to make one up, but it'll keep the accountability high, and it'll keep you focused on what the goals are.
No doubt. So I want to talk about, get your thoughts really quickly on, I would say your first really big impact play that you made at South Carolina that I can vividly remember is the fumble recovery against Mississippi State. And it's funny that game, I was at that game actually, but that game was pretty close. That was a big play in that game. Just talk about for you personally, again, just you get the opportunity, and 2013 is a great season, but to have that play, and you had 2 fumble recoveries that year, one against Mississippi State and one against Coastal Carolina, but that first big play, I mean, what was the rush of emotions like for you when you made that play?
That play, that was a really big game, actually. I think we played Dak Prescott.
Yeah,
that was
Prescott,
his coming out. Yeah, his coming out party. Mississippi State had a really physical team that year, and that was one of our younger years. We had a lot of seniors leave out, and that was a year I kind of had to step up as a leader. And me, Clowney, we had I think we had Scott Moore at linebacker. I know we had a couple other strong players out there, but we just made sure that we try to keep it physical. But that play specifically, I think, helped build the momentum for a strong season for me, at least. Because I know it kind of got a lot of people paying attention to the effort plays, because it really was an effort play. I think about that whole spring where I told myself, I'm going to run to the ball every down. I don't care. The ball goes to the cooler, I'm going to the cooler to go get the ball. And that type of mentality going through pass skill, inside, it paid off during the season. In the right place, the right time. JT Surratt hit the man, and I picked the ball up, and then the rest is history. But the first play that I believe that kind of just, it kind of really opened my eyes. I know I could play on this level was against Florida, 2012. We played Florida at South Carolina. It was a third and 4. I think they had Jeff Demps in the backfield, and they had a smoke package where they put me in as like a edge rusher, because like I said, that's something I did in high school. Coming off the edge was like second nature to me. When Demps came off a sweep, I got him in the backfield for a 3-yard loss, and they ended up having to kick a field goal, but missed the field goal, and we ended up winning by like 4 or 5, something like that.
Yeah.
Really, really close game, but I never forget Coach Spurs called me that next week. He was like, "Golightly, I don't think you understand. That was a huge play, man." And and when he said that against Florida, I knew the weight. I knew the weight of it, you know, and being a sophomore, you know, and I know all these other big plays going on all game. You got Tonio going crazy. You got DJ going crazy. For him to pay attention to that one play kind of showed me, man, everything counts, you know, and always be prepared to make the best out of a situation.
For sure. So I want to talk about current day South Carolina football, Sharrod, but first I want to ask you just straight up, going from 2013 to 2014, I know the 2014 season did not go the way that you guys wanted to, especially defensively. What, if anything, can you point to? Is there one specific thing you would point to and say that this was missing from the 2014 team? Because obviously you had to replace a ton. I mean, Clowney left, a bunch of guys were gone off that 2013 team. And obviously, again, you guys were a top 10 team, ton of hype going in the season. Obviously, the Texas A&M game happens, and it sort of changes the outlook of the 2014 season. But, I mean, what to you, if there's anything, I guess, but what to you was like the thing that was missing that you feel like kind of held you guys back in 2014?
DBs love a pass rush. That's the only thing that we were missing. We were very young up front on the edges, and then we were very young on the back end. So that equates to a lot of points in bad moments, and we had a lot of opportunities to win games, and it was just towards the end, for whatever reasons, mental lapses, we would kind of give up a lot of stuff. And like I said, I think every good thing comes to an end. Every game that we did win, we could have lost. And a lot of games we won, a lot of games we lost, we could have won, or vice versa. But I just think it showed me how grateful you should be for everything. Like that was that one. Like 2014 was a year that kind of just showed me how special those other years were. And moving forward, it showed me the leadership it takes, you know, to bring some cats who might not understand the way we do things. That showed me the importance of every step throughout the year, you know. So when I don't think about, like I said, winter workout, spring training, and you got a fall camp. All of those things adding to having a strong season, and being a fifth-year senior, I was able to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it was great retrospect, man. I think I was on me and a couple. I think maybe Nick Jones and JT Surratt and maybe Dylan. I think we probably only a couple of people that can really see the beginning of it and seeing the end of it, as far as just being really special. So like I take nothing for granted, and I know every slip does count. And those tight games, man, a pass rush is everything. A pass rush is everything, man. You take for granted Devin Taylor. You take for granted Travian Robertson. You take for granted, you know, Cliff Matthews, people like that. So it's just when you kind of get back to, like, you know, back to earth, you know, again, you know, with more fundamental people, you got to kind of just roll with the punches. But I think we learned a lot from that year, man. I think a lot of people learned a lot from that year, and I'm thankful because it was an opportunity for me to be a captain, a senior captain. Like I said, I was a red shirt freshman, you know, coming from Decatur, Georgia, and now I'm a senior captain at the University of South Carolina, and we just came in preseason top 10 off the work that we earned before. So it was just I was really thankful for everything. But if it was one thing that I knew we could, if we had more experience at pass rush, I know that season could have been at least a 9-10 win season. That's just in my mind.
No doubt. No, there's a lot of close losses that 2014 year. All right, let's move into current day South Carolina football. Obviously, somebody as you, I'm really curious to get your take on, because being a proud alum that you are, you've seen this program at its absolute best. You've seen it slip up a couple of times, like you mentioned, but right now it is a very interesting time to be a Gamecock fan. I think I speak for most Gamecock fans when I say that. You know, you're coming off of a 4-8 season. Your coach is facing a lot of scrutiny. Obviously, he's going to be back next season. But when you take a look at this program under Will Muschamp, just kind of give your overall thoughts, your perspective on the program and I guess the direction it's heading under Will Muschamp.
One thing I love that we are physical. That's one thing that I can say. From the point of attack, we have been more physical than we have been in the past. I love the recruiting. The recruiting is very, very strong. I think we're getting some top athletes especially from the Georgia area. I know a couple of kids that are on the team now, the current roster. But I think it's just we just got to tighten up in bigger moments. We need to play bigger, and I don't know how you recruit that. I don't know how you recruit that. How you fix that issue specifically. But like I said, attitude reflects leadership. So I think if the head of the snake can handle the big moment, the rest of the team should follow. So I just think we just need to put a little more preparation, be more take more attention to details, and just compete, man. Just compete. That's all I ask. And in this conference, anything can happen. I know that. The athletes aren't that far away, as far as talent-wise. So it's just as long as you compete. And I don't know if they use different motivation going into games. I don't know, but I just think they need to go back and find another why, a bigger why, a bigger reason to kind of come around, or come together, a stronger source of camaraderie. And I don't really see that. I see a lot of names, a lot of faces. I see, a lot of good players, but I don't see that common goal together. You know what I mean? And I know even on I remember that my last year there, even on our 7-6 year, I remember going into Miami to go play in Miami in the bowl game. We made a point, like, we're going out winners. We're going out with the bowl game. We're going out with I made sure that I never played in the bowl game. I lost, and I want to make sure that I kept that consistent. There's just certain things that you got to kind of just lean on. And my word is pride, man. Somebody got to have pride, man. And I don't know if that comes from the hometown. Like I said, I don't know if you can recruit that, but it's something that they have to re-emphasize, and that's bigger than your last name. That's more of the team. What we're gonna do this year, the 2020 year, the 2021 year, things like that.
You being a defensive guy, is there anybody on the Gamecocks defense particularly that you like, enjoy watching? I mean, obviously this year, I thought the defense had a pretty solid year. I mean, Javon Kinlaw, DJ Wanham, what they did, and you got J.C. Horn, Israel McQuamu in the back end, Ernest Jones at linebacker, T.J. Brunson. I mean, was there one guy you want to highlight on the defense that you kind of enjoyed watching this year?
Yeah, I love 24. I love the way he competes, and I love the way 7 competes. Those two DBs, every time I turn on the TV, they are in the way or making a way, and I love to see that. And they're young, so they got a lot more winning or learning to do. So if they can just, like I said, they can if they can use what they've learned this year. And just and sprinkle that with the younger guys and use that experience to push the rest of the team forward, they'll be all right. But like I said, it all starts with leadership, and I don't know for sure who's the leader. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was a lot of times when we played, you knew who kind of were the captains. You kind of tell when they kind of popped out on television. I want to be able to see that when I see us, and I can't wait to see that when it comes.
For sure. So, Sharrod, I'm going to get you out of here before I do. Last question for you. When you look back on your career, again, there's just so many good memories. I mean, there's so many good memories, so many games you guys won, so many big plays, great moments. Is there one particular memory for you that stands out as your favorite memory in Garnet and Black?
Favorite. Let me go back. I got to go in my head. All right. Easy. 2013 Capital One Bowl, 2014 Capital One Bowl. Played University of Wisconsin, and that was the battle. The first half, huge battle. Like they were up. They were running up and down the field, and I think that second half we came out and we competed. Like I remember just telling them like, it's a fight, fellas. Like y'all never been in a fight. I know y'all been in a fight before. Like you got to keep swinging. You have to keep swinging. And it's a long battle. And I don't care who they got over there. They ain't got nobody that we haven't seen before or seen nothing like. So let's get it. And I think going out of there, I had, 6 tackles in the half. And I had like 2 tackles for loss and 1 on 4th down. And it was just a lot of emotion, momentum. my linebackers played great. Kwan Lewis had a good game. My boy Scott Moore had 2 interceptions. It was just a lot of great stuff happening on the defensive side and offensive side. I just think that momentum going into the game, that was the first time I actually contributed heavily into a bowl game. Heavily. Like, I played almost I played a lot of downs and made huge plays, and it was on national television against a big team with a Heisman Trophy winner, So it was real cool to do, man. That was one of my fond memories.
Awesome. Well, Sharrod, really do appreciate you taking the time, man. I know I speak for all Gamecock fans when I say, it was a pleasure to watch you out there. Obviously, you guys, again, all the great memories, all the great moments. It was a pleasure to watch you out there. So appreciate you taking the time. We'd love to have you back on, talk some ball, talk some shop, but really do appreciate it, man.
No problem, man. Appreciate you. Go Cox.